sandals. Be safe. Okay. I've got a big selection of texturing tools, right? So I'm gonna, right there? Okay. So I had prepared a PowerPoint presentation with a lot of these tools, and unfortunately, Alan doesn't have that on his computer, so I'm going to, actually, it's already on the website under what was it under? Documents? Resources. It was under Resources and Documents. Okay? So I've got a really big selection, because I've got these in a couple different ways. This is a Sorby tool. This comes in two sizes, right? We've got the jumbo size here. Can you zoom in on it? Can you see? Yeah. All right. So several have this, but this is a really pricey tool. This thing's about $250 now. This comes with 4 different wheels, okay? These are about $110. Again, that's kind of pricey for one tool. You know, it's kind of standard for... Is this better? Is that like that? You can do that? That's cool. Now, when you buy one of these Sorby tools, these come with two different wheels, right? So I actually had 2 of these, so I ended up having 4 different wheels. So I've got a coarse wheel, a fine wheel. I've got this point wheel. I made this tool a couple years ago because I was trying to imitate a Carter-style handle on my metal lathe. And each one of these has a little bit different pattern, which I'm going to demonstrate. This is the one I just made not too long ago because I had 2 fine wheels. And this is the one I did I did a video on this one. Real simple tool, very attractive tool, you know. And all I really did was this is a 1/2 inch. This is a 1/2 inch shaft, and I cut this little slot in there with my bandsaw, my metal cutting bandsaw. I drilled and tapped a hole, right? And then I just went ahead and turned a handle, 10-minute job, and made the brass ferrule. Very attractive. Now you can buy $110 for a lot of people is a heck of a lot of money, right? One of the members who's not here tonight just told me that these wheels are on sale right now, and depending where you look, you can buy them either through Sorby or on Amazon. They're about $25 to $50, right? So it's up to you whether or not you have the ability to cut a slot in a texturing tool. But nice, huh? Looks good. Looks professional. The other type that's very popular are the what are these called? What are they? They're knurling tools. I'm trying to think of the Wagner. They're Wagner tools. I have 2 of them. They have 2 different patterns on them, and I'll show you what this looks like in a little while. These are pretty affordable. These are the Wagner tools. I think are about $50 or $60. Ron Brown on his website sells them for about $40. Oh, did they? They're not selling them? He stopped selling them? Okay. Okay, so Ron Brown is still selling them. Okay. Well, I found it the other day. Yeah, Ron Brown's. Okay. So these gives a different technique. The other Ron Brown tool, and we're going to make one of these tonight. This is a Ron Brown tool, and he does not make these anymore. This is called an ELF tool. Can you see that? Okay. So all this really is a Dremel bit inside a shaft, and it's got a couple of ball bearings. And Ron's version has, excuse me, he has a magnet inside here. I talked to him several months ago about this. He doesn't sell them anymore because he was buying these offshore, and all the supply chain problems and the price went up. He said it was just too much trouble. Okay. In reality, you only need one. The guys that really like to make a lot of tops, we have all of them, right? Because we're just fascinated by the hobby. But you don't need that. This is called a chatter tool. right? It says a little bend in it. This, I don't know the manufacturer of this. I think this one just works okay. My homemade ones work actually better than this one, right? Again, this is about $80, and this produces a pattern very similar to what's here. Can you zoom in on this? Like right here? That's a chatter tool pattern. Okay, so actually, I would encourage you not to buy this one. I made one, let's see. This is one I made, again, with a piece of half-inch rod. You can buy half-inch rod at Home Depot or Lowe's. They usually come in either 12 or 36-inch lengths. So all you really got to do is drill a hole in one side, and by the way, you have a lathe. You can do this on your wood lathe. I did this on my metal lathe. But then you drill and tap 2 holes. I got a question. How many people have a tap and die set? Raise your hand. Okay. The reason I'm saying that, so this is one I did a couple weeks ago, and I was trying to do as inexpensively as I could, right? So instead of going out and buying a piece of round rod, I just took a bolt. This is a 4-inch bolt, okay? And what I did, I drilled a hole in the center. I drilled 2 holes. I think these are 1032 threads. And again, I made a nice handle and a ferrule, very attractive tool. Now, I got an idea from our friend Dennis Belcher down in Georgia. He said, Bob, you're doing really nice stuff. Why don't you write an article for Fine Woodworking? I'm sorry, for American Woodturner, right? So I looked it up and found that the editor for the articles is Joshua Friend. So I contacted him and I said, when's the last time you did a chatter tool? I haven't done a chatter tool in a long time. So I wrote a 2-page article, right? And so he gave me some feedback. And one of the feedback is you have to explain to woodturners what a tap and die is and how to use a tap. I go, really? I told Dennis that, and Dennis said he's going after the lowest common denominator. Like, you got to target the articles to people that are brand new and don't know. So I said, okay, that's fair enough. But this works just fine, and it really didn't cost me anything, right? Because I had some copper. I mean, I've got a bunch of copper ferrules, but you can just buy a copper coupling also at Home Depot, right? And this is just a jigsaw blade, okay? So pretty easy. How many people think they could make this as is if they have a tap and die set? About 7 or 8 of you? Yeah, David, how you doing? All right, so, okay. So, again, and just a little pieces of pelly, a little copper. And so you can make your own tools. It's fun making your own tools. Again, this is what I made years ago. I was copying the Easy Wood Tool design. And again, just a jigsaw blade. Okay? So, as I was preparing for today, I wonder if people don't have a tap, how else can you do that? Right? So what I did today, I just grabbed a piece of rod that I had, and I just banded it on with a couple hose clamps. It works great. It's made really nice design. This is what came off of this tool. So nothing to that, right? I don't know. These are all brand new tools. I imagine a long time. You just got to sharpen them. Just sharpen them. Oh. Bob was asking how long would the blades last, and I'm sure way longer than you would have the ability to make this many tops. All right.
Bob,
yes?
for your information, they make a collar for people that don't know how to tap. You just drill a hole.
Yep, I've seen that.
Collar
Yep.
is like a
It's like a fat furrow.
fat washer with a hole drilled and tapped in it. A lot of times, let's say, for example, the sump pumps go up and down. The collar would be on the shaft, and it locks on with a screw. So that would go right through it and secure the blade.
Yeah, basically it's a metal donut, and it already has a screw in it, right? But this is even less expensive than that, right? I mean, how many people have a metal rod at their house or a bolt? Not too many. Okay, it's like 3 or 4. I think we have about 30 people in the room, but that's what I was expecting. Okay, so let's go ahead and experiment with some of these tools. All right, I'm going to show you some of the designs. So I'm just using a spindle gouge. Can you see that okay, Alan? Yeah. Okay, so I took a nice smooth bevel rubbing cut. I like this baby butt smooth with the bevel rubbing. So let's try a little bit of the spiraling tool first. And when you're using a spiraling tool, you can use it at different speeds. Oops, over here. What I like to do usually is go in at one angle, then back it up, change a different angle, go back in, change it with a different angle. You can also just run it right across there. I'm going to do a three-prong approach here. Okay, so you got three different designs with the same tool. Okay, typically what we like to see is some kind of separation of the lines. Lines coming out okay, Alan? Okay, so do some separation. Then you can do your coloring. By the way, all those I got for, I think, $25 on Amazon. If you go on Amazon and look up coloring markers, there's like dozens and dozens of them. Okay? And a lot of these will last for years. I like using the tool rest as a marker rest. And I'll typically like to put a black line in the groove. Oh, I just remembered. I forgot the little brass nails. I knew I was going to forget something. Okay, so that's what a spiraling tool looks like. How many people have some type of texturing tool? So about half of us. Okay. Okay, then we're going to erase this. I actually like my bowl gouge better. Okay, I'm going to use the big spiraling tool this time. I'm turning this as I go. So this is a little bit more subtle, and it's a little bit wider pattern. Can you guys see that? If you do this type of embellishment, and anytime you do something to the wood that's not natural, whether you're coloring it or heating it or putting copper in it or putting epoxy in it, that's called embellishing, right? And when we do these embellishments, and you'll see a lot of really good examples over there, like some of this painting that's being done, like Anthony's doing these little, this is new for Anthony, he's doing the ladybug. Jeannie did a little snowman. He's put a lot of time and effort. These sell a lot better. You know, it's one thing to make a little $5 top with not a lot of embellishment. We really encourage everybody to make a better top that we can sell for $10 or $15. And there's a lot of good examples over there. Okay, this one was made out of Corian by John. That's new. This is the first time we've had something like that, that we're going outside the wooden medium. And then Jeannie, who's been on board for about a month, she did the ballerina top. Now, it doesn't spin all that well, right? but it's very attractive. Okay, that's okay. I mean, I'm really tickled pink that you did this. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So let's try a couple other patterns. Okay. When you're making those types of cuts, make sure you're on the cutting edge and you're rubbing the bevel and you get that glass smooth finish. No sanding required. Okay. Let's try a little bit of knurling. Now, when I knurl, you can experiment with different speeds. I've done it anywhere from 600 up to about 1500. And just experiment. It works fine. I do like the color when it's slow. Going slow, I should say. Okay, in this case, I'm going to put the coloring on first. And I usually like doing this with the, when I'm doing the knurling tool. The knurling tool, I'm going straight in. You just put a little bit of pressure and you do it for several seconds. Oh, shit. No, thank you. Okay, can you see that? Cool, so that's another type of pattern. You can mix and match if you have more than one tool. So Bill Schaller, where's Bill? Bill, when Bill's here, he got here a couple minutes late. He's not going to talk yet.
He's not going to talk?
Okay. We did the shimmer tops last week, and Bill was doing a combination of spiral tool and what was that? And chatter tool? We did all three? Okay. So I turn fast. Right now I'm going to be turning around 2200. Again, glass smooth. Let's see, let's do a combination. This is something Bill did the other day. And we're going to do a little chatter. We're going to do this cheap and dirty chatter tool on this one. Okay, so every one of them is a little different, right? And I don't care if you make the same type of top over and over and over again, right? Because most people are going to buy one top, maybe two, right? And there's plenty of selection. So I usually have the same formula that I usually make the same similar tool, or similar top when I do these. They're all a little bit different, but they are a little bit different, but they're probably 90% the same. So this was the combo. Now, is Tom Gall on out there? Did Tom Gall sign in today? Okay. So one thing that Tom does, and I would encourage you to do this. All right. So as long as you got something that's pleasing to your eye, it's going to be good enough for what we're trying to accomplish, okay? I make my tops in about 12, 13 minutes, right? Some guys spend an hour doing it, and, we'll get 15 for those. But, you should be spending somewhere around 15 to 30 minutes on a top. If you're really good, you can do it quicker. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Oh, I know. So one of the ideas that Tom gave me And if you take Tom, when we start up weekend workshops again in May, I would encourage you to go to Tom's house. Hopefully he does it again this year. We all end up with a whole bunch of these, right? So what do you do with these other than put them in your fireplace, right? What you can do is experiment to find out which combination of textures that you like. Do I have this? Where is it? So once you get a formula that you like, you can very easily, can you see both of these? Zoom in. So once you part the top off of the lathe, do an experiment on the piece that's left over and say, "Ooh, I really like that." You go to Tom's house, he's got about 15 of these. And Tom makes exquisite tops. Tom's the best top turner in the club, right? And he had a whole bunch of these, and I wanted to buy these, right? I mean, they're so nice, right? So that's what you can do with them other than selling them, or I'm sorry, other than scrapping them. Where is it? Oh, here's what I was looking for. Right? All right. So yeah, I mean, just build up your collection. The other thing I want you all to do, if you can, buy some carnauba wax, right? And you can buy this on Amazon, right? Dennis Fuse gave me that. Is Dennis on tonight? Give him credit. Dennis gave me this idea several years ago. I've seen guys spray shellac, put polyurethane, leave them blank, whatever. But with a carnauba wax, it instantly makes these things brilliant. So I'm going to, shut. I don't have a paper towel. All you do is this. That much. Oh, thank you. I was going to use my handkerchief. You do this, you buff it a little bit. It usually does not run the colors at all. This one is it's not bringing it up as it usually does. There's a whole bunch of them over there that have the wax on it. And this particular one, it didn't work, and that's probably the first one that had to happen during a demonstration, Bob, that it's really not as brilliant as I usually like it. Okay? But I'm just trying to give you some idea about all these different things that you can do. Okay? I want to do one. I want to show you this commercial tool, which I'm really actually disappointed with. Okay, here's the commercial tool. Now, the way this works, you've got a thin piece of metal, and it's vibrating very quickly. And this has an even different pattern. Actually, I really like these finer patterns a lot more. I usually do that pattern on top. I'll slow the speed down. What am I doing with that? And we're going to put a dividing line in. Okay, so that's a different pattern. So I would encourage you to get at least one tool, experiment with it. Larry?
That's a Sorby tool.
A Sorby? That's a Sorby tool? Okay, I didn't remember that, but I forgot where I got it. that have originally got it. So is there any questions on this? No? Tim?
How do you do the other side?
I wasn't really planning on making a top tonight. I just wanted to really show this. But typically what I'll do is this part. And my recipe, I do knurling on this side, right? And then when I dig in for the top of the top, that's when I put the chowder tool on. Okay, so that's my recipe. I like the combination of chowder and knurling.